bring me some election news. I want to see the map. I want to see the states. I want to see how close things are. Bring it to me, Albert.
Why
Bring
are you
it.
yelling?
Don't worry. This guy is my guy. David Chalian, he's political director at CNN. Roll it, Albert. Where do we sit?
Albert, thank you.
Wall, Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin. And as you noted here, we're seeing Harris with slight leads in Michigan and Wisconsin. And so instead of our focus for the next 62 days just being on those blue wall states, I really think you got to go down the side of the East Coast. That Pennsylvania, Georgia, we'll see. We don't have North Carolina in this set of polling. If that is acting like Georgia, those states may be the ones to determine. And it's because, as you noted, Donald Trump has to have everything, just hold everything he had in 20, flip Pennsylvania and Georgia, he's the president again. And so if Harris can win one of those states, that's a huge block that she puts up in the path for Donald Trump and sets her potentially on a course. The other thing I would note, the motivation obviously is key, and that is what we've seen over the last, since July 21st, when Joe Biden stepped off the stage here, just the snapback into contention. But it hasn't catapulted Harris into some commanding position in this race. What it has done is make this race extraordinarily competitive and tight again. And I just see you see that across this. I would also note, and I know you have these numbers, put up the gender gap.
Yeah,
I think this is fascinating. If you look at likely female voters across these states, you see enormous margins for Harris there. I mean, look, in Wisconsin, that's
I mean, 55% is a landslide in our closely divided
so she's
politics.
Yeah, but don't get too excited.
She's
Wait
plus
on this.
16.
Wait on
She's,
this.
plus 15. Those
David
are
Look at when they show the other.
Sorry.
Everybody, no, this is like an awesome feat. We love
But
it.
show the other side, because among likely male voters, it's big advantage Trump. This is what we mean by the gap. When we say gender gap, it's not just the advantage among female voters for a Democrat. It's the difference between the female voter advantage among Democrats and the male voter advantage among Republicans. And you see what a big advantage that is for Trump among male voters. And that, to me, is going to be one of the definitional things when we are on election night looking at the results.
Well,
okay, thank you, Albert. I thought that was good, particularly, I get the gender gap thing. That really isn't a surprise, although certainly the enthusiasm with which Kamala Harris will be greeted by particularly women is terrific to see. And everybody should have a stake in women having reproductive freedoms. And because this crazy court, it's a radical, rebellious court. I mean, the real radicalism in America right now is being handled by judges, I'd suggest. But anyway, to the point, that's encouraging, but it's not super surprising. I thought what was interesting and what I really would love to talk about in the days ahead, and we'll talk to Rothman about it, bottom of the hour, now in just a couple of minutes, is the way that Pennsylvania is being contested and Georgia's being contested. Georgia is a really tough climb for Kamala Harris, but she may be able to make that climb, for all the reasons noted. You have the disenfranchisement of voters in Georgia that's taken to high art, as we've said before. There is a problem with that. You not only have to get out the vote, you have to make sure that the vote you get out is actually counted. In Pennsylvania, that is a critical state for her. It's not the only way she can win, but it's almost the only way. If she could win Pennsylvania, as was noted in that piece, it's a huge block as well against Trump winning. Pennsylvania may be the crown jewel. I mean, you need Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin are really the big three, right? Kamala Harris could win those three. That's the presidency. Whereas I thought what was interesting there was he was saying, hey, Trump's going to likely hang on to all these states that he won in the last go-round. And now it comes down to the state of Georgia, state of Pennsylvania. Again, I want to talk to Rothman about it, but I'm concerned about Pennsylvania. That might be the way to put it. I'm concerned about it. And they're campaigning like hell there. I mean, but both sides are campaigning like hell. So we'll see. But I'd say, look, we know it. It's a dead heat. It's crazy. You may look at it and go, how can it be so close? I mean, the guy is just, he's unhinged. He's not really committed to being president. He's this carnival barker promoter guy who branded himself as a great businessman with the help of Mark Burnett, how can he have so effectively bamboozled so many people in America? He is not informed by any kind of understanding of anything. He says he doesn't need to be briefed on anything. He didn't read briefing materials when he was president, and he won't read them again. He's completely into himself. He only cares about building up himself. He's so easily manipulated by foreign leaders and by those around him by simple flattery. They play him like a violin, and somehow he talks to the American people about how tough he is in negotiations with America's adversaries. How can that guy be tracking in a dead heat election with somebody who's clearly competent? Again, you can say what you want about Kamala Harris. Maybe she's too liberal for you. I don't know what that means. You can put some specifics on it, but her competence cannot be in question. She is a studied, competent person who's reflected that competence in the ways she's risen in American political life and public service. I mean, you can't do that with smoke and mirrors. So this is the country we live in.
I made a mistake of commenting on a political thread on Facebook. I really try to keep scrolling, but sometimes you just get sucked in. And one of the things the Trumpers were saying in response was Kamala Harris isn't qualified. She's just not ready to be president. And that's what they're saying. That's one of the things. They're questioning her readiness to serve. They're questioning whether or not she is competent.
I mean, to be fair, she has never hosted a game show on television, a reality show.
She hasn't. This is true, and I mean that's that's a big thing. You could, that means you're rising to the top of the list already.
Have a hit show on TV like Trump did, and then get back to us about being president. What did you write though, Kim?
I wrote a lot of things that I probably ought not to have, because it just stirs the pot, and you forget that you can't talk to these people.
No,
because they're so
you cannot.
Like, their mind is already Fox Newsified, and they're gone.
You unleashed angry Kim, didn't you?
Kim, how are you?
You did.
No, I try to be reasonable, but
I blame you.
Okay, well, But you wrote things, and now you have people. Now you're in a back and forth with people. I don't even know how to log on to Facebook.
I stopped looking.
I'm going to get active on Facebook though, because I think that's where our listeners are.
We have a new page developed by Wes, who is a listener viewer, and it's the Mark Thompson Show discussion forum on Facebook.
What?
Where after the show, if you've heard something that you want to keep talking about, you can go there and continue the discussion.
Wow.
Yes, you can go and join that page.
That's very exciting. Well, I'll have to check that out.
Yeah.
My God.
There's never been anything like this.
I don't think so. I'm very excited. Wow.
It's a friendly place where you can talk about politics.
I see.
Nobody has ever put something like this together that I've ever seen.
It's new. We don't know how friendly it'll be.
There is nothing in our history that quite compares to this.
It might get unfriendly, Kim, is the point. I mean, it can happen.
I've never seen anything like it.
All right. Well, I will check it out on Facebook. Hi, it's Mark, and I thought that was great. Hit the notification bell. You'll know whenever there's a new video being dropped, and please subscribe to our channel to help us save the universe.